Hi there, my name is Dylan. This is going to be a video about the Boyds Gunstock for the Mossberg 500. I did a little bit of research on this beforehand, and there's one site or company or channel. I think they have a news article as well called Ultimate Reloader, if I'm remembering right. And they did, or actually I believe that's what it is. They did their gun stock on I believe it was a 20 gauge Mossberg. They did a laminated stock, and they did the American Plainsman style. Today you're going to be seeing the field butt stock for the 500. And this one's a 12 gauge 20 gauge. I don't know how much it matters with that. I haven't held a Mossberg 500 20 gauge to see like if it's thinner on like the stocks and whatnot, but it'll be a really good kind of general idea. So of course, let's grab our gun here and let's make sure she's unloaded. Yep, we're good. So this is the walnut stock set. I didn't select like the fancy X or double X wood. This is just their basic. Actually, I have the perfect description of it right here on the invoice. This is the Elite Finish Open Grain Traditional Dark Stain. So I bought these at very different times. I bought the forend here probably 4 years ago for a totally different project, and then life happened and you have different priorities for different guns. But anyways, I had this and I had a bunch of receiver parts for this. So I said, hey, why not put together a nice shotgun? So I ended up getting a barrel just off of eBay. I paid like just $150 for it. I can't remember, the mag tube and everything. Thread and choke and receiver I got off Gunbroker. Just kind of pieced together a nice shotgun. But it turned out pretty nice, and even for buying these at such different times, they do match pretty well. I think this one's oxidized a little bit because it's been around for a while. So I do have a feeling if I leave this out in the sun for a bit this summer, it'll kind of help it match a little bit. And just, dropping it on the ground and such and getting it kind of dirty and wiping it and cleaning it, it'll match pretty good. But so I'll show you some close-ups. So on the buttstock here, I went with the 1-inch recoil pad. They had 3 options. One was just a plastic piece here. It was a factory Mossberg one, if I remember right. And then this was the option I went with, a little bit of cushion. And I've never owned a gun with one of these on it, so I thought, why not? And then their other option was some super fancy solid core something. I didn't look too much into it because I wasn't super interested in it. But you got the forend up here. I guess you could kind of consider this the corncob forend. They don't really have a designation for it. I think it's field. I don't think it is though. I think it's just Mossberg 500 on their website. But you can see how it is there. It's the 7 1/4 size, whatever it is. For the longer, I believe there's 2 sizes of the pump here, because like this gun was actually intended to be a Mossberg 590. But that's not really my style anymore. I'll take it apart and put it together so you can see it with that barrel and mag tube on it. But it just the way things work out. This might be the wrong one for this gun, but it functions, so who cares? In case you don't know how to do it, I'll show you real quick on how to remove the barrel off of one of these. It's very simple. You have one nut right here on the end of the mag tube, and you just loosen that up. And you'll be able to pull the barrel straight off the shotgun. Sometimes you will need to pump it a little bit, so make sure you're unloaded. Make sure that you push your little button here so you can slide it if you have to, and that'll help it come off. Just because, as you look right there, it's tapered. It's a little bit thinner than it is down here because the barrel gets fatter towards the chamber, and you might have to kind of mess with it a little bit. We'll put that off to the side, and let's unthread our mag tube, because unfortunately you cannot use this certain there's a lot of different combinations for the Mossberg 500 series gun, 590, Maverick 88, a lot of different barrel and magazine tube combinations, and they're not all compatible. So let's get the 590 set up over here, and this one's already together, so I should be able to slide it in together just like that. Be a little bit of, now we're going to take it apart because I don't want to scuff something up. The main difference on why they're not compatible is the 590 has this big nut on there, and of course the 500 just has this little one that's captured on the barrel. We'll pull that apart and take our mag tube, put it in here. I like to just thread it in a little bit and then make sure my follower's in there. And then put your spring in. Just because it's kind of a mess later. And we'll take our barrel and we'll slide it over the spring and everything. And this is another spot where you might have to mess with the pump a little bit. Oh, but mine's perfect because of taking it apart with the other barrel. And then, of course, we take our big nut here. Oh, you'll want to make sure that your barrel is threaded into the receiver. Some people say that they Mossberg Loctites their barrels into the receiver. Some people say they don't. This gun, I've taken it apart, and obviously I've put it together as pieces. So I don't like to Loctite it just because, you know, I have two barrels, so I can have a defense gun or have a hunting gun. We'll just get it on there for purposes. But there you go. You can kind of see the idea. It's a very reminiscent of a the 590A1 Retrograde is the name of it. So here, I'll do a little video with that too. Kind of gives you a good idea. Get my payment information out of there. I will say the forend is, it looks like a little bit like, you see the like lines and such on there of the grain. You can physically feel them. And then on the stock, it's a little bit more smooth. Sorry, showing you my hand. It's a little bit more smooth on that, but I'm not going to hate on Boyds for that because I ordered this completely different time. They look pretty good for being, you know, ordered at completely separate times. Show you a little bit of the quality of how it's ground and cut. Then the fit on the receiver. It's definitely a little bit more rounded than the receiver is, but that's all right. I'll show you on this guy. When I did start pumping it, it did start kind of have wood chippings come off, so there is kind of a self-clearancing situation that goes on, but it does pump great. And for anyone wondering to actually mount this stock on, or any Mossberg stock, according to what I've seen on the internet, Mossberg uses a 5.5-inch bolt. 5.5-inch bolts are a little hard to get a hold of, so the bolt that I used is a 6-inch 5/16 by 18 thread pitch bolt with a big stack of washers on it. And it is a little bit hard to get in there because the hole is like that in the receiver, and so you got to kind of get the bolts in and then smack it a little bit, and you'll figure out how to get it in there. Don't get it jammed in there. And then I snugged it up real good and tight just so that, you know, the gun doesn't have any problems. But let's put some rounds through this thing. We're doing a full mag tube here. And when I say like the recoil of the gun, I'm mainly considering like how it feels with the you know, the vented pad right there. Do like this tube here. Got a whole lot of angry. Safety was off. All right, let's see how it feels. That was fun. My cheek felt it more than my shoulder did. On to the longer barrel. You'll be able to see it this time. So let's make sure our barrel's good. I just threw it on there real quick. Everything functions nicely. All right. I have noticed with these guns, when you're swapping out the mag tube, make sure you push the follower into the mag tube a little bit while you're installing it, or it seems to get pinched for some reason. I'm not sure what it's getting pinched on because it's in the mag tube still, but something to consider. And then I do have a plug in this gun, so I have 4 rounds left in that box, but I'll, yeah. So let's do that. And I got one more, so let's see how this feels. You know, I would argue that this one recoils about the same. Maybe a little bit less. I'm kind of nursing a shoulder injury right now. And obviously I'm able to shoot a shotgun with it, so it's pretty good. And these are just trapelas, they're nothing special. But I'd say this gun is pretty nice. It doesn't kick too bad. Overall, the look of it, I think it's a beautiful gun. I think the stocks are great. I'm happy with them. This is a gun that I'm happy to have in my safe, and one that I would consider being a gun that I'd pass on to my kids. Thank you very much for anyone interested. If you want to see more gun videos, I mainly do automotive stuff, but hey, I've got guns too. Thank you. I meant to mention this during that clip, but I filmed that after everything else, and it actually started raining right when I did that. And I don't know if you know anything about the Great Depression of the Dust Bowl, but people paid people to like blow stuff up in the air to make it rain. Maybe there's some science to it.